Hi, everyone. It's Karen Cole from Legal Minded Friends. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about the power of victim personal statements compared to the well-known U.S. model victim impact statements. As always, I like to use a backdrop, and we're going to discuss how a current sentencing was handed down against Lucy Letby, and I'll tell you all about her and how there may be some changes in law as we know them because of something that she didn't do. The other thing we're going to talk about, and it was kind of divine intervention, if you will, how the universe brought a case to my attention that happened in 2013 that I had no idea about until the universe intervened. For now, let's get into it. The other thing I had no idea about was when the original victim impact statement was first deposed. And it was first deposed in criminal proceedings in California in 1976. Now, all the states have them. So I bet you're wondering when the UK model came into place. Well, UK, England, the victim personal statement scheme emerged from a victim charter introduced by the Home Office some 20 years later in 1996. And in 2001, victim personal statements went nationwide. And in 2006, some 5 years later, personal statements came to a code of practice that was established for England and Wales. So the term victim personal statements, which I'm sure I'm going to get wrong the whole time because we're going to go back and forth. So the term victim personal statements remains today to distinguish from the American impact statements used in there and in other jurisdictions that use that same model. So we'll find out a bit more about that in a bit. So who can make a victim personal statement? In England and Wales, the actual victim, obviously, and for serious crimes, the victim's close relatives, and if the crime has an impact on persistently targeted victims or vulnerable victims or intimidated victims, they also can write victim personal statements, irrespective of whether or not they have given a witness statement to the courts or the police. So a victim personal statement, as mentioned, is similar, and yet they are different to victim impact statements in the USA. A similarity is that the courts must take the statement into account and consider it prior to sentencing. So in the UK, the statement must be served on the defendant prior to sentencing. And opinions of the victim or the victim's close relatives as to what the sentence should be are not relevant, which is a big difference to the USA. So what is relevant if victims' opinions are not? Well, victims' personal statements give the victims a formal opportunity to say how the crime has affected them, which I will give a real life example of when I read a UK judge's sentencing remarks in a bit. So a victim in the UK should not give their personal views of the defendant or say what punishment they want the victim, they want the offender to receive, as this will be redacted by the court. And if the victim says something that was not evidenced in court, the judge must not make the assumption, must not make assumptions unsupported by the evidence that was given during the trial. A victim will be asked if they want to read out in court their statement, or they could have it read for them, or they could have a recording played. The court will decide what sections of their victim personal statements is to be read or played, and they'll be notified by the court's decision as to how the court decided. There might be good reason not to do so, and it's like not in the victim's best interest to do so. So the court really has a lot of control over that. So you've got to be really careful of what you say. The judge may refer to the victim's personal statement or make public parts of it, and in their sentencing comments or remarks. This means that it could be read aloud in open court and or reported by the media. And if the victim does not want this or any part of their statement to be read out in open court, they must let the court know by objecting to it in writing. So in America, they are referred to as victim impact statements. And they are similar in that the victim tells how the offense had an impact on them. But the difference is the victim can say what they want the offender to be, what punishment they want the offender to have. For example, they can say, we want the maximum sentence allowed. The victim can address the offender directly to express their hurt and pain, but should not blame the offender, as the blame has already been placed. Because remember, this is done at the sentencing hearing. So in the UK, a offender can refuse to not attend sentencing. And there are proposals to make it mandatory that the offender is present in court for their sentencing hearing. But currently it's up to the prison to decide if the offender is fit to attend. I've got something here I want to show you. So it's up to the prison, to decide if they're fit to attend. But the new proposal is what I want to tell you about. This will allow the prison to use reasonable force to get them to attend. If they don't, there could be penalties to sentencing. So you might have heard, and sorry, I was looking for that while I was talking. You might have heard of a recent case where a former neonatal nurse, Lucy Letby, was found guilty of killing 7 babies and attempted to murder 6 others. The serial killer received a whole life sentence, and she refused to be present in court for the sentencing. So the court ordered that Lucy Letby be provided with a copy of the sentencing remarks and the powerful victim statements. I've left a news link to this story, as they refer to the victim's personal statement as a victim's impact statement. I guess they'll have to watch this video to know that they are not victim impact statements in England. But being fair, the American term is more widely understood. So I tend to use it as well. In addition, Lord Chancellor and Justice Secretary Alex Chalk, QC, it's not QC anymore, is it KC, Queen's Counsel, highlights how it was an insult to the families of her victims that Lucy, and I'll just show the picture again, that Lucy Letby failed to appear in the dock to hear her sentencing being handed down, as it was the family's last chance to look her in the eye as the judge decided her fate. And it is because of serious crimes like these that has made him more determined to make sure the worst of offenders attend court. And that's why they're looking to change the law, which I just mentioned is like a proposal at this stage. So watch the space. What do you think? Should offenders be forced to attend sentencing hearings? In the United States, so the victim impact statement has an influence on sentencing, even if the case has a plea deal. The judge is not bound to the time the prosecutor and the defense has agreed to. So a victim impact statement can make a huge difference in the USA. And in both countries, the judge will make sentencing remarks, and they can leave a very powerful impact. I've done a video on introducing England's first ever televised sentencing, which I'll leave a link to in the description area below. However, let me just take that off. However, in America, I thought the judge in the Alex Murdaugh, or Alec Murdaugh, however you like to say it, trial had the most memorable statement, which I did a video on, so I'll leave a link to that. And of course, I don't want to leave out the Vallow Daybell case, as in that hearing, the judge had the most, in my view, the most emotional sentencing remarks. So check those out. And I did find a case in the UK which had exceptionally moving remarks from a judge in England mentioning the victim's personal statement, which was sometime before they started televising sentencing hearings in the UK. Let me read you some of what the judge said. And before I do that, I do want to let you know a bit about this case. So just a second here. Okay. So before I read what happened in this case, I want to give you a background, and let me just get this up on the screen. We've got it here. Real Crime has done a very good documentary on this case, and the case is about Sasha Marsden. So I recommend you watch that. I'll give you a brief overview so that you know a little bit about this case when I read the judge's remarks. So in 2013, Sasha Marsden, that is her on the screen. Let me just, I shouldn't have taken it down. She was 16 years old and was lured to a hotel in Blackpool on the promise of a part-time job. Her family felt this was great. But when she had not returned home, they were very concerned because they had dropped her off in town. They hadn't realized that they didn't know where the hotel was or have the telephone number or anything. So thankfully, they were able to get into her Facebook page, and they found the guy who offered her the job. And as a result, they contacted the police. However, they couldn't have imagined what happened next, nor that they would ever see their daughter again after dropping her off. This young girl endured the most horrific crimes against a human being. So I'll leave you those. I'll leave you that documentary in the description area below so that you can watch it if you like. It's very, very sad. Here's what the judge said. Sasha Marsden, sorry, the lights are a bit bright. Sasha Marsden was an attractive 16-year-old girl with a prospect of a happy, successful life ahead of her. She had taken up studying childcare. She came from a close and hitherto happy family. And if you don't know what that means, it means it's true up until the time you are talking about, although it may not be true now. So he says she came from a close, hitherto family, happy family, and she had a nice boyfriend who gave evidence during the trial. And he's now talking about the offender. You have not only destroyed the life of one human being in the most cruel way, but your cruelty has devastated her loving parents, family, and friends. I have read most of the most moving accounts from Sasha's mother and father, which says that each wound you inflicted upon Sasha has stabbed at the heart of each and every one of her family. As to, and they say it accurately, Sasha's parents have had to listen to how their youngest child was subjected to the most degrading and foul acts that any person could have imposed on another human being. Their statement reads, "These things will haunt us for the rest of our lives." The judge does go on and say, "I wish to pay tribute to the family and friends of Sasha who have been present and in court throughout this whole trial. Their dignity, oh gosh, this was so hard to read. Their dignity in the face of this ordeal has been an example to us all. The trial has been distressing for us all and for the jury, but the agony for this family is, in my judgment, exceptional, given some of the terrible crimes which have been tried in this court." Let's give a minute of silence for her. So, I want to bring your attention to Sasha's sister. And here she is here. She's organized a petition called Sashas Law. The campaign is for families of murdered victims to get a longer period to appeal a lenient sentence and remove the 28-day time limit. So I think this is because the judge felt the offender who murdered Sasha did not meet the criteria, and there he is there, to get a whole life sentence. And he gave him 35 years. And the judge said, put another way, he will not be able to apply for release until the year 2048. This is crazy. I'd been searching for the judge's comments for the Lucy Letby case, and I couldn't find it posted on the court's judgments. So I went looking for something else that would be appropriate, one that was, dealing with a judge referring to a victim's personal statement. And I had no idea that Sasha's sister started this petition. And this is why I've said it was divine intervention, because I had no idea. Let me just put it back on the screen. This petition needs 10,000 signatures for Parliament to respond to it. And I did a video on Parliament having a discussion for laws around making it law to accept cash. And if you want to know more about that, I'll leave a link in the description area below. But for Sasha's petition, it closes on the 24th of January, 2024. So I'll leave a links below to that. And you can see why I thought that was divine intervention, because I had no idea they were trying to get a petition signed. So I really do hope you check out that. I'll also leave you with, let me get it up here, a link to Sasha's sister as she gives an account of the murder in her own words. And she also details the offender, which is that chap right there. So that, the one that's on the screen now, you can find it on a Facebook page called Exposed UK. So show your support and check that out, as worldwide attention will make a difference. And I really do hope you go over and sign this petition, as, like I said, it will make a huge difference. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and please leave your comments. We love to read them. And give this video a thumbs up by pushing the like button underneath the video if you like this content. We're growing as a YouTube community and learning about the legal process together. Information is power, so subscribe free and share. Thank you.